Shalom Akim, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Akakadash, double honors and salutations to elders and apostles of Grove, Mr. Doing well. There's Brother Nash DC Camp, another impromptu lesson to edify the hope for elect. Yeah, so I can already know that during World War II, the nation of this Ammonites, so-called Japanese, they were placed in internment camps here in Babylon, all right, so-called America. And you just have to understand, how it is, man. It's all part of prophecy. And these elites, all right, like to use war as a so-called social experiment, so they could use it to improve on their strategies in the future. And you can already tell, man, they perfected the art of war. And they've got it down to a science. And you just have to be, be glad that the Lord, Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakadash, is letting all this information be available while there's still time to access the internet, right? So you know how it is, why they had to put the Ammonites in those camps. They said the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, and you also have reports that saying that the president knew of the of the approach of the Japanese you know planes before the attack. And that's how it is, it's all one shady tactic behind the scenes. It's all, let's say, just playing games. That's how the elites are, man. They're playing games, always try to see how things will pan out. And that's the reason why these wars are being fought, all right, so they could have their agenda, cemented at the end, okay, at the end of the show. So now they're in a rush to push people to get the marinara sauce and to make life difficult. So I won't ramble on that much. I'm just going to get straight to the point. So I'm going to read from the book of Revelation, chapter 20. I'm going to start from verse 1. It says, "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand." All right, so that's who you know as Lord Hamashiach Yahushai, okay? "And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years." All right, because Lord Yahushai has the authority to release and to have things bound, because that's what the Lord has bestowed on him. He has that power. All right, because the Lord gave him the blueprint, and he went about doing as the Lord asked, him to do. All right, and it's a request that he did, and that's how the world was formed, the angels was formed, the elect and the nations. All right, the planets and the universe. Okay, and the spirits. Okay, that's why Yahushua is known as the everlasting Father. All right, and then Yahushua says in the book of Revelations, chapter 20, verse 3, "And cast him into the bottomless pit." All right, so you know how it is. Europe, there's a bottomless pit, "and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season." So once the Roman Empire fell, all right, through the wars, and then you had the plagues, and then you had the children of Israel being allowed to work, serve in the army. Eventually, Rome, had to fall apart. The Roman Empire had to fall apart, had to be taken over. I won't really say it fell apart. It got taken over by Greeks, all right. And how this Rome fell, the financial difficulties, and that's how Esau fell, from within and without. All right, so that's how you got the so-called, pagan Roman Empire, and then you had the Holy Roman Empire on the other side of the Mediterranean. All right, Greece and Turkey and all that, and then you have I just read a verse 3 again, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set the seal upon him. All right, so throughout the Dark Ages, all right, the Edomites had been in subjection to Israelites, okay? And then it says that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. So during the later, how you say, the, the, the late 14th century, that's when it began to gain some steam. Even before that, you start to allow the Edomites to get up, in our so-called business affairs, okay? Because due to infighting among Jakes, it allowed the Edomites to get up in there. And I think you also made provision for them in the Magna Carta. Right? If you read the whole the list of provisions in there, then it says, and after that, he must be loosed a little season. And that's how, the Renaissance period came about. All right, how the so-called Spain, was basically the lynching pin, okay, for Esau to get back in power, okay. In fact, you can't even forget about the Ottoman Turks, all right, the Edomites, Turco-Edomites, okay. They also played a role in the downfall of our people, okay. So ever since then, they've been deceiving the whole world. They got World War One, World War Two. Okay, so I'll play this clip real quick. So like it for my little you know, history refresher.
Although President Reagan acknowledged that the incarceration of Japanese Americans was a mistake, he stopped short of calling it what it really was: a scandal of epic proportions.
Government lawyers intentionally destroyed and altered and suppressed evidence regarding the loyalty of Japanese Americans. Government lawyers also presented to the court false evidence regarding the commission by Japanese Americans of acts of espionage, acts that the government knew to be false.
It was covered up, but during my few years.
And that's exactly what, really happened. It was all orchestrated, all right? It was all well thought out plan. Okay, that's how the elites like to pull the string, problem, reaction, solution. So, and, Salmonites, they once, we always had to go to battle against them, because when you read the scriptures, it tells you how the children of Israel, our forefathers, even in King David, always had to, check these Ammonites. Because when you read the book of Judges, chapter 11, and then you read verses 12 and 13, it tells you what happened. Okay, so it says, then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before the Lord in Mizpah. All right. And Jephthah sent messengers unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying, What hast thou to do with me, that thou art come against me to fight in my land? And the king of the children of Ammon answered unto the messengers of Jephthah, Because Israel took away my land when they came up out of Egypt, from Arnon even to Jabbok, and unto Jordan. Now therefore restore those lands peaceably. Yeah, so it's always a conflict between our people and these heathens, okay? And it's just judgment from the Lord on them, because you know how it is. The Lord always like to move his chess pieces on the board. So this is just judgment on the nation of Ammon. Okay, so I'll play the scripture and play this video more.
Doing research at the archives, I found the lost 10th copy of the report.
The cases that legalized and legitimized the incarceration of these Americans was false. It was a fraud.
Today,
That's what it takes. All they have to do is lie. They don't need evidence, okay? So I can say, in the court of law, they have to present factual evidence. Nah, you just have to lie on a report. That's all it takes. And just imagine when the Constitution is being done away with, what do you think is going to happen? All right. So I'm going to read from the book of Sirach, chapter 25. Because Esau is just a serpent, that's his nature. That's what the Lord Yabashimashai allow him to be. Okay, he can't be anything less. He can't be anything more. All right, so the book of Sirach, chapter 25. I'm going to read verse 15. It says, "There is no head above the head of a serpent." All right, always cunning and crafty. All right, just like, here the children of Ammon talking about how the so-called Edomites are lawyers. All right, how they falsified evidence and hid, reports and all that stuff. And there is no rat above the rat of an enemy. Yep, so that's what you have to keep in mind.
more than ever, America needs to know the truth. They need to know that not only were Japanese Americans rounded up and incarcerated based on completely false information, but the government knew it, and these facts were deliberately covered up for decades.
It's time for this country to be reminded of the truth and that facts matter. They should have mattered in 1942, and they should matter today.
Yeah, so that's what it's gonna be like for the men of the Lord. They're gonna lie. They're gonna cook up all type of what you call it, reports. So that they could classify us as domestic terrorists, or what you call enemy combatants, and then they want to put us on trial for treason and all that stuff. But that's just part of the journey that we have to deal with, because there's nothing we have to prove to these Edomites elites, man. They're just upset that their kingdom is coming to an end, and they have to scapegoat the elect. All right, so the Lord Yabashimashah has already given us a victory. So I'm going to read from the book of Job, chapter 12. I'm going to read verse 16. It says, "With him is strength and wisdom." All right, that's the Lord. Okay, Musa Yahweh. Bashimashah, Bashimukakadash. The deceived and the deceiver are his. All right, Job chapter 12, verse 16. "With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his." All right, and then verse 17 says, "He leadeth counselors away spoiled, and maketh the judges fools." Yeah, so a lot of people got deceived into thinking that the government had a solid case against these so-called Japanese Americans, Ammonites. Yeah, so that's how treacherous the enemy can be, the Edomites. He's gonna lie all the way to the grave. Yeah, so you just have to understand, man, what you're dealing with. So I'll play a portion of the clip again. All right, so and then you go and do your further research. Executive Order 9066. All right, and then tells you all people of Japanese descent gather reports to a certain location, so they could be placed in concentration camps. All right. So all that relocation center stuff is just play on words. It was basically a concentration camps, and there's gonna be concentration camps for our people that don't want to go along with the system. All right, and even for those that go along with the system, they're still gonna be put in there because Esau has to attack the whole nation of Israel. Okay, whatever means necessary, he can do it true. Okay, so that's just the point that I came up. We've been edified. Pray Lord Hamashach Yahushai continue to give you the spirit for you to search out things diligently. Shalom.